You want to see my studio? Hey everyone, it's Reburn and welcome to my studio build vlog part 1. I've been living in this 2-bedroom apartment with roommates, but now I'm taking over the lease, which means I get to take over this room. This is gonna be my studio/guest room. Now, after taking a poll on Instagram, which by the way, it wouldn't hurt if you followed me on Instagram, the people wanted to see several shorter vlogs of the process, so that's what I'm doing, and this is phase 1. Phase 1 is going to be me moving all of my existing stuff into this room and taking stock of what I need to do. Phase 2 will be buying some new things, replacing my oldest things because some of this stuff I've had since my first apartment, which I moved into in 2013, so it's now 10 years old already. I can't believe how time has flown. And phase 3 will be more decorating and final touches. Let's see if that goes according to plan. I have a feeling that phase 2 and phase 3 might blend into each other a little bit. But that's not what we're thinking about right now. Right now we're thinking about phase 1. Let's go. This is the empty room we started out with. Stepping past the fan, which is blowing because we just got the carpet cleaned, this is what we're working with. The room is about 12 by 10 feet. Lucky me, everyone knows how often it rains in Southern California. We did the carpet cleaning in January during a chunk of rainy days, so we couldn't open the window to help with the drying. It ended up taking quite a bit longer than expected to dry, but on day 3 I was getting so impatient to get started because I love organizing that we went ahead and put a few things up in the closet. The carpet was feeling pretty dry on day 4, so I went ahead and went in and started taking some of the scuffs off the walls and filling in the holes. We were still in those cold rainy days, and I was trying to save money by not turning the heater on. Who says that YouTubers aren't relatable? So yes, I am dressed like I just rolled out of bed, also because I had literally just rolled out of bed. Make fun of me if you want. Here's a better angle so you can make fun of me even more. I didn't do the best job patching the holes, and the compound also doesn't match the paint color, so now my walls kind of look like they have the pox. But that's a problem for phase 2 or phase 3, Anne. Okay, now the carpet is really dry. We can finally move furniture in the room and I can start dealing with this pile in the living room. A key part of my closet strategy includes Tetrising all the boxes up high. Some of these are boxes I need to access frequently, like the ones with mics in them, but some of them are important empty boxes. I save the boxes for my second screen and for my speakers because the fact of the matter is that if you're moving, those original boxes are the easiest and safest ways to transport these important pieces of gear. Now it's time to reassemble the desk. If you think this looks like a pain in fast motion, imagine doing it normal speed. Endless tangle of cables. Endless tangle of cables. Oh, it never ends. It never ends. This is my life now. Oh well. I did my cables as neatly as possible, but it still looks like a mess on the back. I'm thinking I need to buy some cable ties or a cable snake, but that's another problem for phase 2 or phase 3, Anne. I did a little more closet rearranging, and here's how it ended up at the end of the day. A bed! This is gonna be the guest bed. We don't have mattresses for it yet, but we have a bed, and we hung up curtains. For the first time in my life, I correctly measured the width of the window to buy the correct amount of curtain panels, because in the past, and I also did that trick where you hang the curtains higher and wider than the window to make the window look bigger. I got this double curtain rod where I have sheer panels on the inside to give it privacy and filter the light, and then on the outside I have this heavy light blocking curtain to keep it cooler on hot days or to block light when I want to record in here. Of course, I didn't buy the right curtain length, but that's a problem for phase 2 or phase 3, Anne. Now that the desk is set up, I can start working on yet another pile. And my tripod fell over. What I was gonna say is that some of this stuff is going in the cabinet part of my desk, and some of it will go in a filing cabinet that hasn't arrived yet. A box. If you're not thinking about how good this box would be as a fort, you're wrong. My filing cabinet is here. I mean, of course I measured the dimensions and tried to visualize it in the room, but my god, it's huge! Like I said before, I love organizing, so I am excited about this. It feels so good to organize stuff. Oh, but in the bottom drawer there were these metal things. Does anyone know what these are for? Oh, no. Okay, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. And here's the state of everything after my first organizing pass. It feels not that much better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. I know, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Okay, I decided I need to buy some little metal bins to organize in here. The only bin I have right now is helpful, but it's made of some sort of board covered in fabric, you know, and it's coming apart where it's glued at the corners. I've decided I have reached the limit of what I can do without organizing bins, and I need to go out and buy them. Success! Here are the bins. I've got one for art and drawing supplies, one for cables and my Polaroid camera, and one miscellaneous. I also grabbed a mirror at the store. A lot of times I record myself and I don't have a designated camera person. I need to check my hair and makeup and make sure everything looks okay. It's not as easy as it would seem because I always have to box myself in with a tripod, lights, laptop, and sometimes an instrument. And here's the closet so far. It's, well, at least everything fits in there. Definitely needs some organization though, but that's a problem for phase 2 or phase 3, Anne. For now, I can just shut the door and pretend it doesn't exist. Mattresses! No bedding yet, but that's on me because I haven't decided what the color scheme in here is yet except for the green curtains. Is that a phase 2 or a phase 3 Anne thing? I'm not really sure who I should delegate that one to. I was thinking maybe white bedding with a rust orange or warm brown and navy blue as accent colors. I was also toying with the idea of a shades of green, a shades of pink color scheme, like a soft blush pink with the olive curtains and maybe a sage green too. Mostly because of this lamp. I don't have another place for it, but I can't get rid of it. I know those colors would look good together because it's a good combination. It's just I'm not a huge pink person, but that lamp, you know? But I just tend to gravitate more towards the deep, rich colors like my first option, which is this mossy green, rusty orange, and navy blue. But hey, we got mattresses. Now I've got everything set up enough in here to be able to work, which is a great feeling, so I took a little break from the room setup to start on my next cover. As I move into these next phases of studio building, today my friend Nina, who's a musician and an engineer, is coming over to help me analyze this space and decide what acoustic treatment it needs and where it needs it. I'm super excited about this because it's something that I've never been able to have, and I feel like I'm becoming a real producer. And it's also just a reminder to me personally that even though I'm such a DIY person, other people can help you. What a concept, other people. Besides just the normal social interaction between human beings that is much needed and much appreciated when you can talk about work and stuff and share this common language, the power of the community and the power of those connections. I can help people with things they need help with, they can help me with things I need help with, and we both come out better for it. The analysis process involved using some cool software and websites and a variety of different tones and beeps to generate these charts that, if you're smart enough, I am not, you can figure out what they mean for the sound in your room. Okay, I'm ready. Oh, that was a short one.
It's gonna do it now.
Okay.
Okay.
We found problem areas here and here. Now, I said that phase 1 was just going to be moving my existing stuff into this room, so I think that's a good place to end this video. But before I go, you may have noticed that we flipped the furniture around. So, when Nina came over to help me figure the acoustics out, she told me that the desk would be better in the middle of this longest wall. So we moved the desk to where the bed used to be, and now the bed is on the wall by the door where the desk used to be. So what's next? Well, I left quite a few problems for phase 2 and phase 3, and I'm sure they'll understand, but one thing I really definitely need is a closet storage solution. I was thinking about some sort of shelving unit up against the wall of this closet. These 3 boxes that are stacked right here are actually t-shirts. They're my merch. So whenever someone orders something, I need to get into one of those boxes. And it would be really nice if I could store those on shelves or in tubs or, I don't know, just anything that's nicer than a cardboard box. I also need to find a place for all of these things. I don't know if that's going to be in the closet or not. The printer, it would be nice if I could find a place for it to be plugged in and out, because that's what I use to print my shipping labels for my merch orders, so it's nice to not have to plug it in and set it up every time that someone orders something. Also, this chair. Some of you already know the lore of this chair, but this chair has been with me for 10 years now, and you can really tell. So at first the whole chair had this fake leather on it, but started flaking off on the seat part. So I put duct tape on that part to try to stop the flaking, but the duct tape ended up pulling at the rest of it, so I ended up having to cover the whole seat in duct tape. That was a bad idea, so I ended up having to take the duct tape all off, and then it was just this foam that was underneath. And then the same thing happened with this top part of the chair, and so now it's just the foam with none of the fake leather, and also there's a hole right here now. So I definitely need a new chair. There's also like no padding left in the seat part, so I can't sit normally in the chair because it's too uncomfortable for me. So I fell into an office chair research rabbit hole, as one does, and I went to try some of the chairs in person, and I got these fabric swatches to take with me. Of course, there's black, but it's kind of boring, and they have other colors, so why not get a color, maybe? There's gray, which is another neutral option, but I'm kind of over gray, to be honest. You know, there was that period in interiors where everything new and modern was gray. When I'm looking on Zillow at houses that I can't afford, and I see a new remodel with those gray floors, ugh. Anyway, the other neutral fabric swatch that I grabbed was this sort of tan beige that they call truffle. I do like this one, but I'm worried about the dirt factor, especially because, and don't roast me for this, but I don't like to sit normally in the chair. If I were always sitting with my feet on the floor, maybe I wouldn't be so much about getting the chair dirty, but if my feet are on it, I don't know. I feel like the color choice on the chair could also dictate the color choice of the bedding, or vice versa, but I'm spending so long talking about the colors of the fabric on the chair and the bedding, and I feel like that's what nobody cares about. So this desk is another thing that's been with me since 2013, and while it's still working for me and there's nothing wrong with it, unlike the chair, which is absolutely shameful, I know, I do like the idea of a little bit bigger desk, and I also really like the idea of a standing desk. The only thing is that with the amount of stuff that I have on here, I'm not really sure if an adjustable height desk would work with all of that or not. Speaking of the desk, maybe a better way to manage those cables that are below and behind it. I need to buy and try some acoustic treatment based on what Nina told me. I need to paint over the patches on the pox walls, I need to shorten the curtains, and I need to decide what to do about these instruments that are still hanging in the other room. And that wraps up phase 1 of the studio vlog. Can't wait to hear what you think about all of this in those comments. If you aren't already, maybe consider following me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok if that's your thing. Thanks so much to my patrons. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end, and see you next time. Endless tangle of cables, endless tangle of cables. Oh, it never ends, it never ends. This is my life now. Oh well.